Let's set the stage. It's 1984, and we have a long-haired, scrappy quartet from the Bay Area. They are hungry to build on the raw fury of their debut, Kill 'Em All. Holed up in Copenhagen's Sweet Silence Studios with producer Flemming Rasmussen, James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and Cliff Burton unleash a sophomore album that redefined heavy metal. The record hit number 11 on the Billboard 200, sold over 6 million copies worldwide, and turned millions of listeners on to the glorious world of metal. This is thrash evolving into something darker, deeper, and timeless. Get ready, because this is Metallica. Welcome to Album Archives, the vault of music history, where we dive into the top albums of all time, as voted on by fans of the Music Rewind podcast. I'm your host, Steve Epley, and today we are tackling number 279, Ride the Lightning by Metallica, another album also covered in detail in Season 1 of Music Rewind. Released in July 1984, this 47-minute masterpiece is a blistering blend of Thrash's raw aggression and progressive ambition. It's a sonic juggernaut that changed metal forever. So grab your leather jacket, bang your head, and let's dive into the thunderous world of Ride the Lightning. Ride the Lightning was born at a pivotal moment for Metallica. After Kill 'Em All put them on the map in '83, the band wanted to push beyond Thrash's raw speed. Recorded in Denmark over 6 weeks, the album saw Hetfield and Ulrich stepping up as songwriters, while Cliff Burton's classical influences and Hammett's melodic solos added the depth they needed. The band's chemistry, forged through relentless touring, was electric, and Rasmussen's production gave that sound a sharper, heavier edge. The underground cassette scene also played a huge role here. Fans traded dub tapes of Kill 'Em All and early Ride the Lightning demos through clubs and tape trading networks, spreading Metallica's name across the globe before the album even hit shelves. This DIY movement turned Metallica into a cult phenomenon, fueling their rise. The result was a record that balanced brutal intensity with newfound sophistication, proving Metallica was more than just a thrash act. Why is Ride the Lightning so special? It's Metallica finding their voice. Fierce, emotional, and ambitious. The album roars to life with Fight Fire with Fire, a blistering thrash assault with apocalyptic lyrics. Then comes the title track, Ride the Lightning, a dark meditation on death row with a riff that hits like a thunderbolt. And Fade to Black, a haunting epic about despair. It showed the band's emotional range, with those iconic solos that still give you goosebumps. One recording note, Fade to Black was inspired by Hetfield's struggles after the band's gear was stolen in Boston in early '84. The theft of their equipment, which included a prized Marshall amplifier, it left Hetfield feeling helpless and depressed, which then influenced the themes of loss and despair. Then there's For Whom the Bell Tolls, with a legendary Cliff Burton bass intro and that monstrous riff, an ode to war's futility that's become a live staple. There's also Creeping Death, inspired by the Book of Exodus of all things, a thrash epic with a chant-along bridge that still ignites the mosh pits. Finally, there's also Call of Cthulhu, and an instrumental tribute to H.P. Lovecraft, showcasing Burton's genius with its brooding orchestral progression. You can just imagine that mythical creature rising from the deep with this as his intro song. At 47 minutes, Ride the Lightning is a lean, relentless beast. The track list alone is a masterclass in metal. Trapped Under Ice is a breakneck thrasher about being frozen alive, while Escape brings a rare melodic hook with its defiant energy. Closing the album with Call of Cthulhu brilliantly gives that cinematic feel, with its intricate layers showing Metallica's sonic evolution. The band's chemistry makes every track feel alive. This was Metallica at their hungriest, pushed by a fan base that was already rabid, thanks to those bootleg cassettes and their wild live shows. Thematically, Ride the Lightning tackles big ideas: death, war, betrayal, and existential dread. Songs like Fade to Black and Ride the Lightning explore mortality with unflinching honesty, while Creeping Death and For Whom the Bell Tolls weave historical and biblical imagery. Released during the peak of thrash alongside Slayer's Hell Awaits and Spreading the Disease from Anthrax, the album stood out for its emotional depth and its technical prowess. The underground tape trading scene gave it a head start with those swapped bootlegs, building a grassroots buzz that made Metallica a metal juggernaut before mainstream radio even caught on. Let's put 1984 in context. A legendary year that we will return to many times on this countdown. The metal scene was exploding with Iron Maiden's Powerslave and Judas Priest's Defenders of the Faith, while pop was ruled by Madonna and Prince. Ride the Lightning carved its own path. Propelled by that hardcore fan base and relentless touring, it eventually hit number 3 on the UK metal charts. Critics hailed it. Kerrang called it a thrash masterpiece with heart. Its influence is massive, inspiring almost all rock bands today, especially those ones that blend melody with aggression, like Trivium or Land of God. With any band today, there's no escaping Metallica. Why does Ride the Lightning endure? First, it's Metallica at their most raw. 4 young guys pouring everything into their craft, fueled by a fan base that was getting the hands on their tunes any way they could. Second, the songs. Each one's a riff-driven sledgehammer with hooks that stick, and those guitar solos, magnificent. Third, its vibe. It's an album that feels like a stormy night, heavy and haunting. That awesome cover art with its electric chair against a stormy night, it captures its dark intensity. For me, Ride the Lightning is that amazing conversation I had with my friend Michael Cadawar over on Music Rewind. We talked for hours about how a young 7-year-old discovered Metallica through his local rock radio station, and it changed his life forever. What's the legacy of Ride the Lightning? As of 2025, it remains a fan favorite, celebrated in reissues and live performances, most recently in Metallica's M72 tour. Cliff Burton's tragic death in 1986 adds a bittersweet weight, but his influence lives on in their follow-up masterpiece, Master of Puppets, as well. To quote Lars Ulrich, Cliff brought in this whole other level. Classical stuff, harmony, structure, it was like going from a garage to a cathedral. If you haven't spun Ride the Lightning lately, do it today. Blast it on vinyl, crank it in your car, or just stream it loud. It's a journey through metal's golden era, led by a band on the cusp of greatness, powered by a rabid fan base that turned Metallica into gods. New to it? Brace for a headbanging ride that'll hook you hard. For me, it's not just an album, it's the beginning of one of the most amazing album streaks in rock history, and a testament to Metallica's unstoppable spirit. That's it for this edition of Album Archives. If you enjoyed it, share it with a friend or leave a review wherever you listen. Next up is number 278, Surfer Rosa by the Pixies. Check out musicrewindpodcast.com to see where we're at and where we're headed. For now, I'm Steve Epley, and as I always say, listen to the full album. Until next time.
A podcast from the Sidereal Media Group. Back to you, anchors.